Hi there, my name's Campbell. I'm a second year PA student, and some of the comments have recently been asking for an updated Q&A video, which I'm very happy to do. I have my computer over here with the comments pulled up. I'm going to go earliest to most recent in order. Yeah, let's jump right in. I have my peppermint tea here, my jammies, so it's nice and cozy. So first few questions were from Zora4340, and they asked, how has the adjustment been since you've started rotations? It's been a steep learning curve. I think for the first one, I was really doing a little bit too much with my studying schedule, and I wasn't really taking advantage of my days off. And I think clinicals are far more similar to how it is working, at least if you're working like the 3 to 4 days a week long shifts. Clinicals are a lot like that. And so I actually have days off, and I felt a lot of pressure to be doing something all the time, like doing something that was quote productive, just because didactic, if you're not familiar, medical schools and PA schools in the States often have like didactic is the first part, which is like you're in lecture, you're in lab, you're working with your professors to like solidify your knowledge of the concepts. And for us, we take exams every 2 weeks in didactic. So it was like you had to be on. You could not take your foot off the gas or put your foot on the pedal, like foot on the brake pedal. You know, you couldn't slow down. Whereas now there's room for that. Like I'm working on a puzzle right now. I've read 5 books in the last month. You know, there's a lot more flexibility there, which kind of took my body getting used to. I feel like I'm still kind of my like sympathetic nervous system is still in control, but slowly we're kind of getting more regulated. So it was an adjustment. And a good adjustment. I love clinicals. So the next question from that person is, do you prefer it over didactic? Yes. Do I miss certain parts from when I was studying full time? Certainly. I miss seeing my best friend every day. Like we would sit next to each other in class, and we would go on like walks in between lectures, and it was really nice getting to have the person that knows exactly what I'm going through right there, so we could complain to each other, we could celebrate each other's success and things like that. So we text every day still, and we try to see each other like once or twice a rotation, but still miss seeing her every day. And it's a lot easier to know if you're doing well in didactic because you have the test scores, so it's very easy to kind of have that like pulse check of, do I know what I'm doing, versus now it's trickier to get feedback just because you're working with the preceptor, and it doesn't translate to having like tangible, am I doing well or am I not doing well? Because sometimes I feel like I'm on fire. Other days I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing and have so much room for growth, which is a beautiful thing. But sometimes I miss that like black and white, do I know what I'm doing, versus where do I need to prioritize my time studying, if that makes sense. So I miss that, but not really. It's just different. Have you come to any revelations now that you're in the field? Is it how you thought you would be? i.e. struggles / things you didn't think you liked when studying it, but now are enjoyable in practice? I loved most of my subjects, and the stuff that I didn't like, I still don't like. So infectious disease and antibiotic choices, I'm fine if I know like the first line. The urgent care I'm at right now, this might not mean anything to you, but like cephalexin or Keflex, I combine those, or the generic and the brand name. Keflex or Macrobit are like the go-tos for UTIs, but in like problems or like practice questions, it's like, what's the third line? Like I don't like infectious disease, and I still don't like infectious disease. I can say the first line and interpret like a culture and sensitivity report, but I still don't love it. However, the subjects I loved the most, cardio and palm, I'm not getting a ton of experience with like with listening, so we call it auscultation, is like listening with your stethoscope. For like the murmurs especially, I haven't really had any besides the most common one, aortic stenosis. So that one I'm like, I wish I was seeing more of, because I loved the concept so much. I want to see how it translates to real life. So I can't really comment on that just because I haven't seen a ton of it. Any new revelations? There's a lot more paperwork than I thought. Like I knew there would be a lot of paperwork. I knew there would be a lot of charting, but just the level of depth. And the urgent care I'm at, like every call you have with a patient has to be like, have like a little detailed note of what you talked about, what the plan is. And you call for all lab results that come back, even if the results are negative, meaning the treatment plan doesn't need to change or they don't have whatever you were testing for. So that was kind of the amount and the volume of administrative work was an eye-opener, but not something, I know something, it's something I can handle. So, struggles, Yeah, I would say like listening and like knowing what I'm listening. Like when you're listening to lung sounds, are those wheezes? Are those crackles? Are those rails? It's kind of hard, and you're expected to identify like the specific the name of each lung sound or each heart sound. So that's still something I'm struggling / adapting to. Okay. Star Clan X asked, how did you go through the days where it felt like you can't get the result you need no matter what you do? That's tricky. I'm going to take a sip of my tea while I think. How did I get through the days? I think it was a lot of self-talk and reframing it as like, okay, it's not, I didn't get the result today, but I know that what I need to work on now, and trying to take away however much I could from the mistake or from the misstep or from the misdiagnosis or choosing the wrong treatment. Like my preceptor is very kind and corrects me, and I write everything down, and I'm like, okay, I like reflect each day on my car ride back of like, where could I have improved? And recognizing I'm committed to being a lifelong learner, and I'm not going to be perfect every day. Like there are days where I'm like, okay, like ears, for example, I know what I'm looking at, but sometimes people's anatomy is weird, and I misspeak and misdiagnose an outer ear infection, otitis externa, with otitis media, because I struggle with ears. So reminding myself like it's okay, and I have a long way to go. This is rotation 4 of 9. I will be looking in so many more ears, and it's all about kind of getting the repetition in. But really just instead of dwelling on not getting the results I wanted, how can I train and how can I prepare to get them the next time, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like a lot of mind shift and mindset work. Sarah 37 asked, how do you find the energy to study after clinical days? Oh, it was a multi-part question. So for that one, it's hard, especially if I had a long day, where the other day we had an urgent care, like 4 different like true emergencies, where we had to call the ambulance to like transport them to the hospital. And it's like, okay, I come home, it's 8 o'clock. I'm like, how do I study? So tricks with this for me, study as much as I can during the day in between patients. My preceptor is very chill and lets me, some aren't. So I establish that early on of like, hey, are you comfortable if we don't have anyone in the clinic that we're waiting on, if I do practice questions? And she's been great and said, yeah, totally, go for it. So fit in wherever you can, even if it's 5 minutes. Like a 5-minute burst of practice questions is better than nothing. And sometimes I don't have the energy, and being very gracious with myself and like, okay, how can I adapt the next day's plan and the next day's agenda? Can I wake up like 10 minutes earlier, or things like that to fit in wherever possible? But also I'm seeing a lot, I'm doing a lot more hands-on stuff than I'm used to. So giving myself that grace of like, okay, maybe we don't need to study every single day. You're studying by doing. So, and how do you rejuvenate and energize yourself for those days with both clinicals and needing to study afterwards? Setting myself up for success in the night before, I think, is a big thing. So planning out my meals, packing my bag, picking out my outfit, eliminating all of the decisions that kind of, without me realizing, sap up energy, and eliminating all barriers to studying. So I set out my computer, I write my to-do list of what topics I want to cover, or what practice tests I want to take, or whatever I feel like I need to study. I write all that down the night before, just so I eliminate any barriers to starting the studying process. And I'm a big study before work kind of person. So my clinicals now are 8 to 8. I'm getting up at 5 and I'm studying for an hour or two before I leave. That's just how I've been doing it. And I also we'll schedule one day where it's like, okay, no schoolwork this day, but then I need to be on it then like the rest of the off days, if that makes sense. So kind of, it's a lot of like Google Calendar prepping, and this, like, part of my Sunday reset is I write in my Google Calendar what I'm going to be doing each day. So if I have an off day, I still chunk it off in my calendar, or block it off, whatever you want to call it, and write what I'm going to be doing each day. So it's a lot of like planning, and then just I've talked about it before, but you can't rely on motivation. It's discipline that's going to get you through. So just kind of exercising that. Okay, do you have a morning routine to wake up and start the day with a good mindset / energy? I notice that I often waste a lot of time in the morning getting and feeling ready. Thank you. That was from Bonia 47. Sorry, I'm a little blind. Morning routine. Yes. I try to brush my teeth first thing to like perk myself up. I'll try to keep my Kindle at my bedside, so even if I don't feel like waking up or getting up, the temptation to scroll is there, and it's like that dopamine hit. I don't want that. So I try to, if I really don't feel like getting up, read a chapter before I get up with my Kindle. And then usually I don't do my skincare routine right away. I get up, I chug a glass of water right away. And then I'll eat. I'm a eat breakfast first thing kind of person, just because I eat dinner at like 6. So I'm hungry when I wake up. So eat breakfast, have it be healthy, like fiber, a little bit of protein. Like I don't want to get too deep into that, but I have my breakfast, and then I make sure to have breakfast before I have my coffee. So I'll have my coffee, and this room is, I'm in the den, right? My den right now. I used to film videos here where my desk was facing this way. So yeah, I have my little morning routine here. I'll read a little bit, I'll enjoy my coffee, and just allow myself that like 20-minute slow routine to kind of wake myself up before I jump right into things. Other things I do to wake up and start my day with a good mindset, I like to do, I might say this wrong, but Qigong, which I it's like, I think it's trending. It's like the Chinese grandma on the lawn, like you know that like that kind of TikTok joke. I don't know if it's a joke, but like the different, like doing the way. Please look it up. QI space GONG. Qigong. I hope you know what I'm talking about, but I'll try to do some of those while my coffee's brewing. I'll do my skincare routine that helps wake me up. Yeah, I don't feel like I do anything special, which I'm sorry, I feel like that's a very boring answer. And then no scrolling. My phone, I leave it in my bathroom. I don't go on my phone in the morning. Or if I need to respond to texts, because I go to bed quite early, so if I need to respond to texts, I'll do that from my computer. And then Victoria asked, what has been your favorite rotation so far, and what do they like? Do you interact with patients a lot? I heard that there's going to be a PA in the next season of The Pit. There is. I did not know that. I'm so excited. Can't wait to hear your thoughts about the representation once it airs. I'm thrilled. I'm counting down. If you're not familiar, I love The Pit. I get comments that I remind people of Mel King, and that's my favorite compliment ever. Mel King and then Elle Woods. I'm flattered every single time. My favorite rotation so far has been, I loved my time in the ICU. I only spent 2 weeks there, but I loved it. Did not like emergency medicine, but that's a whole other story, which I guess is the point of the video. If you're curious about that, I get easily overstimulated when it comes to auditory inputs. So in the ER, the ED, whatever you want to call it, there's a vent going off here, an IV pump going off there, 16 different conversations about 20 different patients going on, and everyone's screaming. So it's like I'm trying to think. I just didn't feel like I was the best version of myself, and like wasn't able to practice medicine how I want to practice it in the ED. I did my requirement. I don't think that ED is for me though. My favorite one though is probably the ICU. I only did 2 weeks there, but it was amazing. And as far as interacting with patients a lot, yes. The way my program sets it up and the way I've done it with my preceptors is the patient, depending on the setting, interacts with some sort of like either a nurse or a medical assistant to kind of get the visit started and establish their chart and check everything with like their meds, their allergies, all that stuff. Then I go in, I introduce myself. Hi, I'm Campbell, I'm the PA student, and I do their history and their physical. If it's a sensitive exam or if it's an emergency where it's like, okay, time is precious, we don't have time to waste, I'll go in with my preceptor and we'll do it together. And then I go and I present the patient to my preceptor, and who's so far has always been a PA. Sorry if I'm sounding a little nasally. I'm having some sort of allergy situation. So I'll present, I'll say, hey, this is so-and-so, here's what they're coming in with, here's what I think it is, here's what I want to do. And then they'll say, okay, great. And then they'll evaluate, and then they'll come back and say, totally agree, or here's what you missed. And we'll chat about it, and then we move on to the next patient. So I'm seeing patients all day, which has been incredible. Okay. Can I post more study with me's? I would love to. I'm just not home much, but I'll read there. I was struggling to begin working on my thesis. Girl, you and me both. I'm so glad the chat about the avoiding a daunting task was helpful. I wish I could do more study with me's. Unfortunately, I'm just not home, and when I am home, I have all of my appointments booked, so I'm just not studying for long periods of time anymore, but I will try my best. It's just, I'm doing a lot of learning. Like I was saying, I'm doing practice questions at my rotation. I'm also exhausted on my days off, so I don't really have it in me to do like 8-hour chunks. I break it up a lot, and don't usually sit at my desk. I'm sitting here, I'm sitting at a cafe, I'm going somewhere. So I'll try, but I can't promise anything. Especially for the rotations where I'm at clinic all day. Like this one I'm in right now is 3 to 4 days a week. The one I'm in next is 5 days a week. So it's like I don't have as much time here. Okay. All right, next question. Ooh, there was 10. Goodness. Rapid fire. What do you usually do in your free time? Read. I'm starting to knit again. I like jigsaw puzzles. I love taking care of my houseplants. I like to walk. I have a walking pad, and I'm a big YouTube fan. I like watching as well as making. So I'll watch YouTube while I'm on my walking pad. Play with my cats. I like to run. I'm getting into like Pilates and yoga. I like to bake. Those are about it. Big reader though. What's my favorite food? Pasta. I love pasta. I also like mashed potatoes. But yeah, like a pasta with a good red sauce. That's my favorite right now. My favorite song right now. It's not a good song. It is a good song, but it's not like it's not I don't know how to describe it. I like Be Her by Ella Langley. That's who sings it, right? That's what I can't get out of my head. Be Her by Ella Langley. You know the one? Okay. Anyway, that's right now. Do I have any hobbies besides YouTube? I just chatted about that. And then favorite moment since I started YouTube, when Sab Yang commented on one of my videos, that was epic. And just I love getting to have the small moments with people of like saying that they connected with me and they resonated with something I said, or I've helped them complete coursework. Like that's the biggest honor. So I'm very happy with that. Okay. What country would I love to visit? Italy, Greece. My family is from Norway, like distant family, so I'd love to visit Norway. Those are the ones at the top right now. My biggest dream, to find a job that fulfills me but doesn't burn me out and create like a perfect work-life balance. I don't know, I just want to graduate. Do I have a boyfriend? I have a fiancé. His name's Jack. What do you like most about my subscribers? Just how many countries and how many different cultures are represented. I love it. Every time someone says like, hi from Turkey or hi from India, I'm like, oh, I love it. Thank you. Okay. And Jules199 said, hi Cam, how do you rejuvenate after exams or between rotations? I'm struggling to feel rested, TBH. TBQH, me too. I have like a reset routine that I do. It mainly consists of some sort of meal prep, laundry, cleaning. I find the most peace when my environment around me is organized and tidy. That allows kind of like mentally me to like pluck thoughts that aren't necessary or are like destructive. I find myself most at peace when my environment is peaceful. So my rejuvenation routine is big on naps if I'm needing it, cleaning, like organizing my kitchen, catching up on dishes and laundry, and taking care of my plants. I'm big on like, okay, like I need to feel rejuvenated. Let me go prune my plants or like pick all the yellow leaves off, things like that. That helps me at least. I love that I made tea and I'm just not drinking it. I'm just being chatty, I guess. Okay. As someone who doesn't live in America, I have no understanding of what a PA does. Even Google didn't help. Can you explain that? I also wanted to say that I love your videos and your good energy. Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, so a PA, it stands for physician assistant or physician associate, depending. We're kind of in some people use, it's just a split down the middle who uses what. So what a PA does is they are seeing patients on their own. We can diagnose, we can treat, We prescribe medications. We manage patients all on our own. The exception is we have an attending or a doctor, physician, whatever you want to call it, that we work closely or not so closely with. But we have someone, either an MD or a DO, medical doctor, doctor of osteopathic medicine, that's on our team in some capacity. So if we were to need their help, we would be able to go to them and present cases. Or in like inpatient settings, the PA is taking the not as emergent or not as serious cases, while the doctor handles the more serious, needs a specialist approach. The one thing that PAs can't do by ourselves is surgery. So we can be the first assist. So we have the main surgeon, who's the physician, the resident, the attending, whoever, and PAs can first assist. I don't know that I want to do surgery. I have surgery. I'm in urgent care right now, then I have psych, then I have surgery. So we'll see. The OR, that time in the OR kind of intimidates me. But yeah, that's what a PA does. It's this, I don't mean to oversimplify it, but it's a lot like a doctor, but we work with doctors. So we're not their assistant in that we help them with their paperwork. We are seeing our own patients, and the urgent care I'm at is run by PAs. I don't think there are any doctors that I've met. So we see everyone, we act independently. We just have someone like a supervising attending that we can go to if we need help. That's how I like to explain it. What are my study methods, and what are the things that help me study for such long hours? Drop some of the things that you use to take notes on your iPad. I use Notability. I also have a, what's the screen? Paper-like screen projector. Yeah, Notability is really all I use. And I'm not really doing handwritten iPad notes right now. There's just no need. I'm doing mainly like paper because I can't bring my iPad with me to urgent, you can't really have that out. And then my study methods, it depends. Right now I'm doing a lot of practice questions, but I'll do like flashcards every day. I have the little like 8-bit dough remote for Anki. Love Anki. Anki, however you want to call it. So those are the main ones, flashcards and practice questions, just because it's so, like, it's, your success in PA school is dependent on active recall and active studying rather than passive studying, because you can spend all the time you want passive studying, but if you can't apply it, it's kind of useless. And then last one, what do you do between your study sessions to completely relax your mind? I'm sick of scrolling TikToks. Same. Delete the app. That's my biggest thing. Delete the app, make it impossible, or maybe not even impossible, more difficult for yourself to access the distractions. So I leave my phone. I don't even know where it is right now. That's the biggest thing, is put up as many eliminations for the bad habits as you can. And also, being bored is not a bad thing. Just sitting, staring, looking at tracing the patterns on the leaves with your eyes. Like, being bored isn't a bad thing, and don't be afraid to be bored. Sometimes I find that the best break I have is when I'm just sitting there kind of focusing on my breathing, or focusing on my environment, or doing like the 5, 3, 2, 1. Like, if you know that method, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I don't think I do anything crazy. Thank you for all your questions. So I hope that was informative or fun or what have you. I'm gonna actually drink my tea now and work on my puzzle that I have in front of me. So thank you.